Joe Biggs with Infowars.com. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have heard about what's going on in Canada right now. One Canadian soldier has been killed, and also a gunman has been killed. Right now, we're still told that there are shooters out there, and there is an active investigation still going on into what has happened. But, I was watching Fox News earlier, and they had a live feed up, and one of the things I caught the anchor on the side of the road say is that the police are coming out saying, hey, don't post videos or photos of the ongoing incident as they happen, just to ensure safety of responders and the public. We heard that same thing happened when I was in Ferguson. Myself, Jakar Jackson, and Josh Owens, we heard the police come over there say, no, don't film any of this stuff, turn off your equipment, stop recording. And this whole safety thing, I can kind of understand that, but at the same time, you have the right to go out there and update things like that. That's how you get really good reporting done, to find out what's going on, because the police always want to try to hide stuff. Here's something interesting we caught while watching local Canadian TV. Now, as you can see right here, you got the squad car, you got 2 police officers lined up, and what's going to happen is they're going to sit here and then take off at a dead sprint and run. You can see they have this guy has a 9mm in his hand. So does this gentleman. These 2 guys right here, he's got a M4 and a handgun. But this is what we notice right here. These guys come right over here. They slow down once they get out of the main view of the cameras, and they go off to the side, and you can see them laughing and smiling and joking. Look at them. They're just like laughing. So the police are laughing and joking, and this kind of leads up to the fact whether or not, is this a false flag? We're not saying that it is, but that's pretty odd, wouldn't you say? I mean, to see these police officers are in front of the main news crew, they're running at a dead sprint like there's something crazy going on, but as soon as they get out of view, off to the side, and they think no one's watching, they're laughing and kind of joking and looking around to see what's going on. So that's just something to think about and look at.
The Senate security and the House of Commons security inside the building, obviously, are separate forces under separate command. If that assailant today had gone in the Senate door, which probably he easily could have, he would have been he would not have been met by armed force. He could have been right into the guts of the building. But at this point, all of the security forces in the House of Commons are not armed either.
Now here's Craig Oliver. He is a parliamentary correspondent. He's a journalist, and he reports a lot on those issues there. And he had a few interesting things to say. He says, Senate security is not armed. But then he comes back again and he goes, all security is not armed. So he said if a gunman were to rush right in there, he would not be met with any kind of force whatsoever. They wouldn't have weapons. So this leads me to think, all right, do they have weapons in their stash? And then there's a response time in case something happens. That's why eventually they did have weapons, or they locked somewhere on the premises, or what. But I'm pretty sure they're going to change how they run their security after today's events. I'm pretty sure at this point you'll see people armed there every day. And then another thing as well, though, citizens, if citizens are allowed to be armed, they saw something like this, they could stop it too as well. So it's just another thing to think about when you want to take guns from people, and because you're so worried about people being offended by them or something like that.
To be able to run from the War Memorial to Parliament Hill, I mean, someone would have to be in top physical shape to be doing this in 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, carrying your weapon without exciting any tourists or anybody who would be on the grounds and who would see that and probably would be tempted to call 911. Likely, the assailant wasn't alone. Likely it was somebody else.
Now this is Michel Drapeau. He is a retired colonel. He worked at the University of Ottawa. He was their military law professor. Now, what he's talking about is the assailant, the armed assailant who was gunned down. He said it's pretty much impossible for one person to have committed this crime. There would have had to have been more than one, because he says this person would have had to have been so in shape to be able to run the distance from across the street where the War Memorial is to get into Parliament and then go that way. He says there had to have been another person involved as well. Just a brief background about things that happened in Canada. The Toronto G20 riot fraud. Undercover police engaged in purposeful provocation. Now, this is one of a few incidents that's happened over that way. Also, Quebec police admit they went undercover at Montebello protest. These police officers went dressed up as thugs, sideways hats, holding rocks in their hands. And then to the left, the riot police aren't doing anything about it. They're not stopping them. And they use them as a way to incite violence and get the crowd very upset about what's going on. Now, we're not saying that this is a false flag, but it's definitely not a lone wolf incident. There's still another person out there at large right now. And, you know, I made a couple of points earlier about guns. And I put out a tweet saying, disarm the citizens and they will be targets for terrorist actions. Hashtag pray for Ottawa. So I wasn't trying to be, you know, crazy or anything like that. I'm just saying that, you know, when you disarm citizens, they don't have a right to protect themselves. That's obviously a simple target for terrorist action to happen. And it, you know, has really upset quite a few people, telling me that basically I'm being sensitive and that I should go back to the States, disarm the citizens and have lower gun crime rates. Jesus, what a stupid tweet. You know, it's pissed off a lot of people, basically. And someone said that they nominate this tweet to be the dumbest tweet of the year. So, you know, that's a Canadian outlook on the situation. Me personally, I'd rather have the right to bear arms and have a way to protect myself, but some people don't feel that way. They think the police should have all the power. So we're going to continue bringing you updates about what's happening in Ottawa, so stay tuned and look for more reports on Infowars.com.
I want to know what's really happening with Ebola. I want to know if there are things out there that could protect this country and protect my 3 children, just as you do. Government can't and won't protect you from Ebola. It is up to all of us to be prepared and to protect ourselves. I'm not sitting back waiting for the government to come protect me and take care of me. It's why I'm doing everything I can to boost my body's natural defenses. That's why I've got storable foods. That's why I've got my colloidal silver from InfoWarsLife.com, the silver bullet. That's why I've got nascent iodine X2 that has absolutely supercharged my personal body's defenses. I personally have gotten prepared, and I recommend everybody else get prepared as well. So visit InfoWarsLife.com today to find the most cutting-edge, hardcore supplements on the planet. Or call the InfoWars staff and we can answer your questions or take your order over the phone at 888-253-3139.